On this week's show, we have a new catalog out, Detective Comics Turns 1000 and Absolute Carnage. Check it out, it's Previews World Weekly and it's happening right now. What's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday, which means it's New Comic Book Day, which means it's time for Previews World Weekly. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we're here every week to remind you guys to stop at a comic shop and get involved in what's happening in the world of comics. Woo!
Hey, you know, you got it out though. So it just so happens that there's a new catalog out this week.
Yup.
Right, it's that time of the month.
It is.
And these two covers, I gotta say,
they're so good.
They're so good. And I know you like Wicked and Divine.
Yes, I do.
Number 45 is out, and it's actually well, it's coming, and it's the last issue. So if you haven't caught on to this yet, you probably should, and jump on in. But also, this Blade Runner cover. We have, I don't know if you can see it behind us, but behind me. But like, I'm stealing that one when it comes down later because that's just great. I love that. I think that's
gonna have that one.
Art turn? Yeah. Oh, you want that one too? Oh, you can have the Wicked Divine. Yeah. Those are just like, they're sexy covers, I gotta say.
They're really, they're gorgeous, quite frankly.
So we're gonna do a couple of videos, of course, talking about the catalog. There's a Gem of the Month video with Anamia, and of course I'll do the overview catalog video after that. But also, just want to point out there's some cool stuff this month. I know a lot of people were freaking out about DC's trade paperback plans, the future of collected editions in the DC universe. Yeah. But it turns out there's some pretty cool stuff still coming out. There's a Crisis on Infinite Earth box set, which is massive, and you should definitely check that out. And I'll have Johnny throw it up on the screen just to talk about it. And also a Flashpoint box set too. So, you know, it's okay, guys. Like, DC's still gonna collect stuff. I know there's been a lot of, there's been a lot of rumors about, like what they're gonna do, but they're still collecting comics, don't worry about it. Also, a DBZ, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z box set for those of you interested, so, and we'll talk about that later. But on top of the new catalog out this week, it's just New Comic Book Day. So here's Anamia, and she's gonna show us some of the titles that have hit comic shelves this week.
What's up, Previews World? Mia here, and I'm gonna give you a look at some of the new titles in store this week. Here's what's at comic shops. Is that it? No way. Your comic shop has something for every type of customer. So stop at a comic shop today, and I'll see you back here next week.
All right, and thanks, Anamia. Those are some of the titles available this week. Those are the featured ones, but Thea and I always have our special picks. So what are you looking forward to this week?
The gorgeous ladies of wrestling, Word Glow, right, of course. And oh my gosh, the artwork for this looks really fun. I'm really excited. I love the Netflix show. Yeah. So yeah, what more can you ask for? Yeah,
I actually really like that show. Like, I think we talked about this before. I don't know if we talked about it on camera, but off camera, like, it's just like a great cast of characters.
It's so good.
How they intersect with each other, and like, you know, I'm a wrestling fan. I don't know if you are an actual wrestling fan, but I mean, at the same time, like, I feel like the show does a really good job of getting to understand wrestling. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that too. I think that's actually really interesting. Also out this week, there's a book called Bad Luck Chuck from Dark Horse Comics. I kind of stumbled upon this after like the solicitation in the catalog, and it's really interesting. Like, it's kind of the only word I can kind of come up with is zany. So basically, this character Charlene, who's on the front cover, she was cursed a long time ago, and now she kind of loans out her bad luck to people. So if you have an insurance claim that you're trying to get, or you know, like you're trying to like anything that like if it can steer in your direction, then like you hire her and she'll just make things go wrong.
Oh man!
You know, but of course, this isn't something that you can. This isn't something you can really control. Right. So she kind of screwed up, and now she's got a mob boss and a fraud investigator and a cult leader all after her. So yeah, it's just, you know.
Nice.
I think it sounds like it might be a lot of fun potentially.
Yeah,
that's
a good premise.
Yeah, check that out.
For sure.
What else are you looking forward to?
I'm looking at the Coda trade paperback, Volume 1.
Oh yeah.
So this is, we got Simon Spurrier and Matthias Vergara, and it's a broken fantasy world, and It's good for fans of like Mad Max and Lord of the Rings. So it's sort of got the epic going and the post-apocalyptic going, right? So we have an apocalyptic event that wiped out nearly all magic from a once fantasy world and left it without magic, obviously. And we have a former bard named Hum, nicknamed because his standard reply is, which I just think is a great little bit, right? And he's looking to save the soul of his wife with nothing but a foul-tempered mutant unicorn and his wits to protect him.
Oh, okay. Foul-tempered unicorn. That sounds mutant unicorn. That sounds very dangerous, actually.
It sounds super dangerous. But, of course, he's drawn into some crazy power struggle and stuff. Yeah, so it's just, this collects issues 1 through 4.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantasy world that's been, the magic has been purged out of it. Like, I found, that's actually really cool.
Right.
Also out this week, Daleks for Hero, which was actually my pick a few months ago, too.
Yep.
Like, I've never really delved fully into Daleks for Hero. It's a concept that's been around for a very long time.
Sure.
There was a Vertigo book that I grazed, like, you know, I just kind of skim read one day.
Right.
But the premise is really cool. And it's basically like you just get a rotary phone and you dial HERO and you become a superhero for 1 hour. And I saw some people saying like, oh, that sounds like Ben 10. No.
Yeah.
Ben 10's based on this.
Yeah.
Like Ben
This
10
came
got
first.
this premise from this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really cool book, and it's also the Wonder Comics line, which was Brian Michael Bendis's, I don't want to say all ages, but definitely young adult line of comics.
Right.
And this was the main one that really got my attention, so definitely check that out. What else can we look forward to this week?
We also have Marvel Rising #1 out this week, which looks really cool. Again, I love the artwork on the front here. Super good. And it's a great cast of characters. Of course, we have Kamala Khan and Doreen Green, and they have to team up with a bunch of other really fun superheroes, of course, and to help protect their home turf. So it's good to see all the girls together.
Right.
Girl power.
Girl power, there you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if I can't tell if the cartoon came first or the comic came first. I know it's only like about a year old,
I think that the cartoon came first.
Right.
Don't quote me. But from what I was looking at, it looks like the cartoon came first.
Well, if you're a fan of either one, check that out, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And of course, like the big one this week, and I mean, this is probably like the big one of the year, I want to say. Like, this is like an event in itself. Detective Comics turns 1,000.
Yeah.
This is the book that like gave us Batman. And like Batman wasn't originally like first introduced in this, I mean, he was first introduced in this book, but the series had been going for a couple of issues before that. But this also marks Batman's 80th anniversary.
Yeah.
And you're getting a really cool lineup of guest writers who are just kind of dropping in to join in. One of them being Warren Ellis, which I'm a big fan of, I've always been a big fan of. But also there's multiple variant covers for this. And I gotta say, there's a Jacques one and a Michael Cho one that both look really cool. So, and we're going to talk about Batman much later in the show. Towards the end, we're going to do a supercut that we put together of just the 80 years of Batman's history. So definitely stay tuned for that. And on that note, it's time for the news. And it just so happens that C2E2 happened this past week.
Yes.
And so it's kind of Marvel heavy. This week is kind of Marvel heavy, you know. But check this out. Thea's going to give us a rundown of some of the big announcements from C2E2. Check it out.
Tim Seeley, the writer and creator behind titles such as Hack and Slash and Revival, has been named the managing editor of Heavy Metal magazine. He will now be in charge of creating and overseeing content for all upcoming issues. Heavy Metal magazine is also helmed by publisher Kevin Eastman, creator of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and editor-in-chief Grant Morrison, a comic book writer currently on DC Comics' Green Lantern. Find current issues of Heavy Metal magazine available now at your local comic shop.
Yeah, I'm rooting for heavy metal, like in general, like I just am. We were talking earlier about, was it sex? I can always get this wrong. Sex, Love, Robots. Love, Sex, Robots.
Something like that.
Right. Well, I found out that it actually was originally intended to be a heavy metal project.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because like, you know, heavy metal has the anthology vibe and all of this stuff. But in general, I just like the whole, like, you know, all the variation dystopian futures and all that stuff, and like all
Death, Love, and Robots.
Love, and Robots. There you go.
Figured it out.
Why did I add a sex to it?
They have a lot of sex in them, so understandable mistake.
I just put that in there, but you got a point. There is a lot of that too.
Yes.
But yeah, like, so the Tim Seeley thing is interesting because that's quite a trifecta. You've got, like you said, Kevin Eastman, Grant Morrison, Tim Seeley. Very curious to see what they're going to shepherd in, and we got more Tim Seeley news. So yeah.
For sure. In a video during the Diamond Retailer panel at C2E2, acclaimed writer Donny Cates announced Absolute Carnage, Marvel's epic summer event. Beginning in Free Comic Book Day Spider-Man vs. Venom #1, the blockbuster event kicks off in August and reteams Cates with Venom's Ryan Stegman and colorist Frank Martin for the deadliest story in the Marvel Universe. Absolute Carnage encompasses every single character who has ever worn a symbiote and every symbiote that's ever been, going all the way back to when Peter found the black suit. Going from there to Maximum Carnage to Venomize to everything, everyone is a target.
Yeah, this is cool. Actually, we just recently on our social media posted some sample pages of Maximum Carnage, and it just kind of made me nostalgic for this. And I think this is kind of the same pull they're doing here, which is Donny Cates did like a little video, like you said, and his enthusiasm is infectious. Like you want this to work because, and it's also just a cool concept. Cletus Cassidy coming back and trying to kill everybody in the Marvel universe who's worn a symbiote, which is a lot of people actually. So
heck of a lineup.
yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting event. Marvel's got a good string of events coming up. I know people usually kind of poo-poo the events and are like, nothing's gonna happen, but these are actually kind of cool. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Next up, the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide number 49 pays tribute to some big names. Artist Michael William Kaluta turns his attentions to El Zorro, the Fox, in celebration of the character's 100th anniversary for the cover of the Hall of Fame edition of the guide. Artist Diego Galindo celebrates the impact of Firefly, the short-lived but much-loved story that spawned a cult following, with his cover art. And for 8 decades, Batman fought his relentless war on crime in Gotham City, and for those 80 years, readers have been thrilled to read his exploits. But where would he be without all of his colorful villains? Gemstone Publishing tips its proverbial cap to the bad guys who make Batman such a good guy, with Tony Daniel's Batman Rogues gallery cover. Scheduled to go on sale Wednesday, July 17th, this issue of the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide will also be featured in the April Previews catalog.
And I know a lot of people you can go online and find prices for comics, right?
Sure.
But there's nothing more accurate, more comprehensive,
or easy to deal with.
Right,
it's all in one place.
It's all in one, right? Yeah. This is the thing that you should have if you're trying to collect and you're trying to sell Overstreet Price Guide. And it comes out every year, so yeah, definitely keep an eye out for that.
Whoop, whoop. Next up, hack and slash creator Tim Seeley brings his singular vision of horror and his unique version of the final girl to IDW in The Crow, Hack and Slash, a comic book crossover debuting this summer. Illustrated by Tim Seeley with inks by returning Crow artist Jim Terry, this 4-issue miniseries sees fan favorite femme fatale Cassie Hack on the trail of an all-new Crow, one unlike any that fans have seen before. Slated to go on sale June 19th, be sure to keep an eye out and contact your local comic shop to get your hands on this great crossover event. Definitely pretty cool.
Yeah. I think this is an interesting mishmash, because normally she takes on, Cassie takes on traditional slasher film heroes or villains, I should say.
Right.
But this one is the Crow's kind of in murky territory.
Yeah, he's not really a bad guy.
Yeah,
right. He's sort of the anti-hero. Right.
Yeah.
And
it's a good day to be a bad guy.
In his realm, he's a good guy-ish.
Guy-ish, right? Yeah. But it's a very thin line.
Yeah, it's a very thin line for sure.
So yeah. Also, shout out to Tim Seeley for breaking news twice in a week. So
killing it.
Yeah.
And finally, after weeks of speculation from comic book fans around the world, Marvel revealed the next monumental chapter for the X-Men. During Marvel's Next Big Thing panel, critically acclaimed creator Jonathan Hickman announced 2 new series, House of X and Powers of X, beginning this July. These 2 new series, written by Jonathan Hickman with art by young gun Pepe Larraz, R.B. Silva, and colorist Marta Gracia, will build from every major X-Men milestone since 1963 up through the current X-Men series and storylines fans know and love, including some of our most iconic characters from over the decades. Each series will be released on an alternate weekly schedule, starting with House of X, followed by Powers of X. Fans will be able to follow along each week this summer and witness history unfold.
Yeah, I am actually I'm on board with this.
Oh, yeah.
This is fun. I've been wanting to have an excuse to read X-Men for a while, and you can read into that any way you want to. But this sounds like it might be fun. And Jonathan Hickman's got a good track record, and he's probably the one guy. I'm surprised he hasn't written X-Men before. So
for sure.
Yeah.
His time has come.
His time has come, right? And the idea that it's going to connect things from 1963 on up.
Right.
Is really interesting. And also,
I'm here for that.
I can't help but notice that there's I guess it's Kitty Pryde dressed like Colossus, and Nightcrawler who looks kind of like Gambit. I don't quite understand what's going on there. So yeah, there's a lot of everyone else is
intrigue.
Right. Everyone else is the normal character,
right?
But those 2 in particular. So yeah, I don't know. We'll find out.
Interesting.
Also, notice my shirt matches your hair.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. There you go. Right. So tons of cool news this week. But now we're going to kick it over to Natasha. She's going to show us what's inside the Previews World toy chest. Here's everything that's available at your local comic shop in the toy department.
Hey Previews World, Natasha here, and I'm going to give you a look at some of the new toys and collectibles in stores today. Here's your Previews toy chest for the week of March 27th, 2019. Want to see more? Be sure to check out Talking Toys, our weekly show that spotlights new collectibles on their way to your friendly local comic shop. Just head over to PREVIEWSworld.com/talkingtoys to find out more.
Thanks, Natasha, and of course that's just a taste of what's out this week. If you want to see the full lineup of what's available, go on over to PREVIEWSworld.com/new releases to find the full list.
Cool.
So some cool stuff for sure.
Yeah, very cool. Like I noticed you paused when that She-Ra came up.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful She-Ra.
That's a really nice one, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I remember seeing the solicitation for it right around the time of the Netflix show, and like there's that whole like back and forth about like the way the character's drawn, right? And like people just loved that. When I saw it, I was like, I'm gonna vote this online, and people just ate it up. They love classic She-Ra.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
absolutely.
And I guess from my understanding, I guess that's going to be the only She-Ra for a while. Again, we're back to that. So.
Whatever.
I mean, I don't think people are upset about it. So.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, was there anything else that you peeped? Oh,
the Resident Evil Nemesis. Actually, I'm kind of like it's a really big.
Yeah. Was it 15?
15 inches.
Yeah,
like hefty boy.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
I also want to point out the DC Core Flash. We don't have it this week, but we are going to give it away next week.
Ooh.
And it's been sitting on my desk for like about 7 days, and I haven't had people come by and say like, "Can I look at that? Can I look at that?" So
nice.
You might want to check this out. This is actually a really nice statue, especially if you're a Flash fan. So.
Good to know.
So now we're going to take a look at a trailer. This is Super Sons, the Polar Shield, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about it. So check this out, Super Sons. Now the Super Sons Polar Shield Project, I definitely misspoke earlier, like the word project was on the other line. But it is from DC Comics. It's from specifically DC Zoom, which is like their middle grade line of books. We've talked about it before. I think you had picked out the Raven book right before, and I think maybe even the Catwoman thing, or maybe we just talked about it in the past.
That's true.
So yeah, there's a couple other books in this series, so definitely check it out. Definitely for younger readers. If you're looking for the same Damian Wayne that decapitated Batman's villain in his first appearance, it's not that Damian Wayne. This is for kids like 7th and 8th grade, so but it still might be fun. It's still a lot of fun. So check out DC Zoom. And speaking of Damian Wayne, or just because I need a segue,
Bat family.
Just the Bat family in general, right? It is Batman's 80th anniversary, right? He turns 80. Actually, technically, he turns 80 Saturday. But it is Wednesday. It is New Comic Book Day, which means that Detective Comics 1000 is out now. And so Johnny here, instead of us baking him a cake, we put together a supercut, and Johnny went ahead and made this for us. So thank you, Johnny. And we're going to take a look at Detective Comics 1000 and also 80 Years of Batman. Here we go.
are so many Batmans.
Yes.
So many Batmans.
Yes.
And there they all are.
All of them. Yeah.
Every iteration of Batman.
Right. Honestly, we probably clipped a few because like I think the video was getting a little too long. So like for example, his first appearance in Detective Comics, he had purple gloves. And so that like, you know, I was debating back and forth about including. I included, and Johnny was like, I was like, yeah, that's fair. I mean, Detective Comics is represented in there, so.
For sure.
But what's your favorite Batman?
So I grew up with Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
That was really my Batman. That was the one that I saw the most often.
Oh, Terry McGinnis.
Yeah. Edgy.
Edgy,
you know.
right? Yeah.
It appealed to my aesthetic at the time.
Yeah. A little cyberpunk too, which was nice. That was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
My favorite, actually, I was thinking about this morning. We talked before about Batman Returns, and I think that's because I like isolated loner Batman. Not that I don't like Robin, but like I like that idea of it. But there was an issue of Gotham Knights, I think it was issue number 18, that I always think about because it's actually one of my favorite standalone stories, and I just want to talk about it just for a second. And it was basically Batman had ostracized himself from Robin, from Alfred.
Oh, man.
He's alone in the Batcave. It's a slow night in Gotham, and he keeps calling Dick Grayson Nightwing and sort of like, is anything going on out there? And he's just sort of like, I'm busy. Turns out he's hooking up with Barbara, which I figured you would appreciate. So he ultimately ends up calling Aquaman, which was really strange.
What?
Yeah. And he's just sort of like, could you come over and help me? He's got this giant penny in the Batcave. He's like, can you help me take this penny out of the Batcave because it's stuck somewhere or something like that? And basically the story is it's the issue about nothing.
Yeah.
And then ultimately Aquaman at the end of it is like, next time you can just call and say you want to have a beer. And I just love that. To me, that's like my favorite Batman.
Beautiful.
Like, I like the sidekicks, I like all the different variations. I even like the 60s Batman. But isolated weirdo Batman is kind of my favorite.
Reminds me of my dad. Hey, can you come over and fix this light bulb? Not, hey, you want to come over and hang out? No, it's I have to be doing something.
Right. No, and it's like, I also kind of like this kind of a guy thing too.
Yeah,
it's like
definitely a
I
guy
can't say that I want to hang out with somebody.
No,
but
you can't be vulnerable.
So we bring up our favorite Batmans for a reason, because we're going to give away the 80 Years of Batman hardcover that was released a few weeks ago. And yeah, look at that. Nice deluxe edition too.
Yeah.
And unopened. I was very tempted to open it.
Got the plastic on and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is gorgeous, for sure.
So how can they win this guy?
So if you want to win this beauteous book, let us know what your favorite Batman comic story is. Specifically comic story. And leave a comment on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're watching, and we'll take entries until next show, and we'll announce it on the show.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, yeah, I was very tempted to open this. I just got to point that out, because I wanted to see what was inside, but a lot of fun.
For you, the fans.
For you,
we
the
have
fans.
left it intact.
All right. I know there's a lot of Batman fans out there, so there you go.
Yeah.
He's arguably DC's most popular character.
For sure.
So
we also have a winner of last week's contest, right?
Yes.
It was the Hellboy Day.
Yes,
Right?
it
What are
was.
you doing for Hellboy Day? We've got Code 3 Imagination, who said, I'm spending Hellboy Day at the fire station. Would love to hit the comic store and partake in any of the activities, but I can't. So I'll put on the Hellboy movies and watch it here at the station.
Yeah.
So because you couldn't get out and do anything fun, you're our winner.
There you go. Yeah, right. It's like bring Hellboy Day to him, right? And so, actually, speaking of Hellboy Day, we don't. First of all, we don't have a social swamp this week because we did the Batman Supercut. But we normally do our comic shop shout out, and so quite a few stores in the area and outside the country celebrated Hellboy Day.
Yeah.
So we're going to end with that.
Yeah.
But who do we have this week?
So we're looking at Orbital Comics in London.
Yeah. Right.
So they participated in Hellboy Day and did some cool stuff, so we'll be taking a look at them.
Yeah.
And of course, if you want to be featured on the show, let us know what your favorite local comic shop is. Use the hashtag support your LCS, excuse me. And wherever you can find us on social media, let us know, and we could feature you on the show.
And I'm going to take this away from you. But that's it for this week's show.
That's for the contest winner.
Okay, fine. Boo. Fine. I just have to order one then. Anyway, that's it for this week's show. Did I forget anything? I don't think I forgot
we're
anything,
good,
right?
yeah.
For once, I didn't forget anything.
Hey!
I'm Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we'll see you at the Spinner Rack.
watching Previews World Weekly. If you like the show, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future episodes.